Hello and welcome to the Tough Cover Podcast with your host, Mark Henry Jr. As always, on the Painted Lines. And as always, you can follow me at Mark Henry Jr. _ and you can follow the Painted Lines at the Painted Lines. On today's show, we are diving head first into the afternoon slate of college basketball, which I absolutely love a couple plays on. And we will also give my best bet, which is a late night college basketball play. I'll give one late night NHL Marquee Pucks play. And last but not least, I've got my picks in the NBA All-Star Saturday night. You might say you want to call them 1-800, Mark. That's not the case. I've cleaned up in NBA All-Star Saturday night in recent years. I've done well on the skills challenge, the three-point contest, and I did have one parlay, I believe it was 2 years ago, where I hit the first two, and then Aaron Gordon got robbed from Derrick Jones Jr. If that would have hit, that parlay would have been huge. Don't have an All-Star Saturday night parlay, but I do have a play in each of the contests. So without any further ado, let's get ready to gamble. And also, before we get into my plays, I won't be able to watch any of these plays since I'll be at a wedding, but I had to get the plays to the people. That's what I do for you guys. So starting with my first play at 2 o'clock for 5 units, I've got Kansas State plus 5.5 at Oklahoma State, playing a little Bruce-sketball here with Bruce Weber. K-State is 9-3-1 against the spread as a dog, 7-2 against the spread on the road, 3-1 against the spread in their last 4, and have won 4 of their last 5. They've got a stud in Nigel Pack, who will be the best player on the court. Noel just had his best game for Kansas State. He's coming off a hot 20-point performance. K-State won a close one over the Cowboys 2 weeks ago. And then you look at the Cowboys, OK State, only 6-8 against the spread as a favorite, only 9-15-1 against the spread overall, and they are suspended from the tourney. Not much to play for. Boynton's doing a good job keeping them somewhat engaged, but K-State is allegedly still in the bubble. I believe Andy Katz had them in as early as a couple days ago, so much more to play for here for the Wildcats. Betting the bubble here, going with K-State plus 5.5 over OK State for 5.5 units to win 5 units. Moving on to a game involving the number 2 Auburn Tigers. I've got 2 plays on this game. I've got Auburn minus 3.5 for 2 units over Florida, and I also have Auburn team total over 71.5, 4 units to win 5 units. This is a fishy line, a trap line, if you will. I'll eat the cheese. I don't care. I don't care where they're playing. Auburn is 2.5 points better than Florida, or 3.5 points better than Florida. Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler will be the 2 best players on the floor. Auburn is 18-7-1 against the spread, 17-6-1 against the spread as a favorite. Florida has failed to cover in 5 straight games and are 1-7 in their last 8 against the spread. And for the team total, Auburn has scored 74 plus in 6 straight games. Auburn has scored 74 plus in 11 of their last 12 games, and they averaged 87.5 point games in those 12 games. So give me Bruce Pearl over Mike White all day. No disrespect to Mike White, but give me the Tigers. Auburn minus 3.5 and Auburn team total over 71.5. Moving on to 2:30, I've got Ohio State minus 5 versus Iowa for 3 units. Ohio State is 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, 7-4 against the spread at home, 11-0 straight up at home, and 13-2 straight up as a favorite. Iowa is 3-5 straight up on the road, 1-3 straight up as an underdog. I love fading Iowa because this team is fraudulent, and they showed it earlier this week at Michigan, and that was why I hammered Michigan. I'm hammering Ohio State again. I will continue to bet against Iowa when they're playing the top tier of the Big Ten because I don't think they belong in that top tier of the Big Ten. So moving on to a game that's top tier in no world. At 3 o'clock, I've got Clemson in a pick'em at Louisville for 2 units. I'm contractually obligated to fade Louisville because it's been so good to me. Louisville is 1-6 against the spread in their last 7, 2-12-1 against the spread in their last 15, 7-17-1 against the spread overall, 4-11 against the spread at home. Clemson just needs to hold up their end of the bargain. I don't have any great stats about Clemson. They are 2-8 in their last 10 games. They're not playing great basketball. They are 0-6 in one possession games. So that probably means their record is probably a little worse than it should be. All I need them to do is play average basketball, pull away from a bad Louisville team who struggles to defend and struggles to score. So give me Clemson. PJ Hall should be the best player on the floor as well. So that's Clemson in a pick'em at 3 o'clock for 2 units. And then my best bet in college basketball, my last college basketball play at 10 o'clock, I've got Long Beach State plus 5.5 at UC Santa Barbara for 6 units. Long Beach State has covered 11 straight and won 11 straight, 6 of which they were underdogs in. The bookmakers need to start respecting Long Beach State. They are 11-3 against the spread on the year as an underdog, 8-2 against the spread on the road. They beat UCSB a month ago by 7 as a 4-point underdog. UCSB is 3-11 in their last 14 against the spread. I'm rolling with the Long Beach State 49ers over the UCSB Gauchos for 6 units. That's my best bet on the board for college basketball. I do have a Marky Puck special here. I'm going with the Calgary Flames team total over 4 for 1 unit. 5 straight games that the Calgary Flames have scored 5+, 7 straight games that they've scored at least 4. Calgary has been my over team. 4 is a ton of goals, but I'll trust my Flames here to pull it out with 4+ goals. And then, last but not least, like I said, for All-Star Saturday night, I've got in the 3-point contest, Luke Kennard at plus 550. And then I've got a long shot at Karl Towns plus 1650, 1 unit on each. Luke Kennard said he did this growing up. He said him and his friends used to get together and do the 3-point contest. I'm all in on that because me and my friends used to do that. We did it all the time. We didn't have racks, but we had to rebound and pass for each other. I love that Kennard said that. He's also just a pure 3-point shooter, and he can shoot it from distance a bit from the do zone. So they have a where they drop back for the people like Trae Young and Steph Curry who shoot deep. They now have, I believe, 2 balls that you shoot from distance. Luke Kennard can shoot it a bit from distance. So I think Luke Kennard will win the 3-point contest. But if you're giving me plus 1650 on Karl Towns, I'm taking it as a long shot because plus 1650 is absurd in a 3-point contest, and he's a great shooter. Cat pretty much shoots a set shot, so not a lot of jumping necessary to tire himself out. He wants to be known as the best shooting big ever. Dirk won in 06, so Cat has to win a 3-point contest to have that claim. So let's get to my best bet for the skills challenge tonight. My best bet of All-Star Saturday night. I like Team Cavs at plus 250 for 2 units. Alex and Thanasis are going to drag the Antetokounmpos down. The rookies have no chemistry. The Cavs have 3 guys who can dribble, 2 guys who can shoot and pass. I think the Cavs run away with this. We'll see how they set up the obstacle course, but I think the Cavs are a much better option than the Antetokounmpos or the rookies. I think they should be the odds-on favorite, not at plus 250. So, and then in the dunk contest, my last play of the night here, I've got Obi Toppin plus 250 for 1 unit. Ain't no stopping Obi Toppin. Obi did it before. I love that. Reminds me of Dwight. When Dwight did it the first year, he didn't make it to the finals, but then he ended up winning. He became a household name. The next year with the Superman dunk, he realized you have to, amp up the theatrics a little bit. I think Obi Toppin does a little bit of the same with the theatrics. He's probably the biggest name of the 4, and he plays for the New York Knicks. He plays for the biggest name brand. He's also kind of a hometown favorite. Start at Dayton. I wonder how close Dayton and Cleveland are. For all I know, they're 6 hours apart. But I think that there will be a contingent of Dayton fans there for Obi. He knows what it takes. He's going to get it done. So let's recap all of my plays that I just gave you in case you're joining in late. At 2 o'clock, I like K-State plus 5.5 at OK State for 5 units. I like Auburn minus 3.5 at Florida for 2 units. And I like Auburn team total over 71.5, 4 units to win 5 units on a 25% DraftKings odds boost. At 2:30, I like Ohio State minus 5 versus Iowa for 3 units. At 3 o'clock, I like Clemson in a pick'em at Louisville for 2 units. At 10 o'clock, I like Long Beach State plus 5.5 at UC Santa Barbara for 6 units. And I like the Calgary Flames team total over 4 for 1 unit. That's my Marky Puck special. And then in the All-Star Saturday night portion of my card in the 3-point contest, I have Luke Kennard at plus 550 for 1 unit. Karl Towns at plus 1650 for 1 unit. Team Cavs at plus 250 for 2 units in the skills challenge. And last but not least, Obi Toppin plus 250 for 1 unit in the dunk contest. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm going to be out today. I'm going to be at a wedding. I won't be able to keep as close of an eye on these things as I would if I was just sitting at home. So if anything crazy happens in these games, if you guys see anything that would upset me or make me happy, send it over to me on Twitter at @MarkHenryJr_. I'm always down to interact about these plays. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the Tough Cover Click, and enjoy the winners.